The courtroom was a sea of murmurs and rustling papers, a place where justice was supposed to shine, but often flickered in the shadows of doubt. At its heart stood a small figure, a 7-year-old blind girl named Lily Morgan, clutching her white cane with trembling fingers. The air grew heavy as she stepped forward, her footsteps soft but resolute, guided only by the sound of the judge's voice and the faint creak of the wooden witness stand. Lily couldn't see the faces staring at her, the skeptical glances from the jury, or the polished suit of her uncle's lawyer, but she felt their weight, the cold indifference in their silence, the unspoken question of whether a child like her could be believed. Her lower lip quivered as she settled into the hard seat, her small frame barely filling the space. The judge's voice, steady but kind, cut through the tension. "Do you understand what it means to tell the truth, Lily?" She nodded, her voice a fragile thread. "Yes, sir. It means I say what happened, even if it hurts." The room held its breath, but no one was ready for the truth that was about to walk in on 4 paws. A truth that would unravel everything. Lily's world had gone dark at 3, stolen by a rare autoimmune disorder that left her sightless before she could learn to ride a bike or trace the stars in the night sky. But what she lacked in vision, she made up for in heart, a heart that trusted fiercely and loved deeply. That heart belonged to Scout, her golden retriever service dog, whose soulful eyes seemed to see more than most humans ever could. Scout wasn't just a dog. He was her guide, her protector, her best friend. For 3 years, he never left her side, leading her through crowded school hallways, nudging her away from curbs, and curling up at her feet each night, a steady warmth in her world of shadows. Their bond was a language of trust, unspoken but unbreakable, a beacon of hope that carried Lily through the darkest days. Those dark days began when Lily's mother, Emily, lost her battle with cancer. At just 6, Lily was sent to live with her uncle, Richard Hall, her late father's younger brother. Richard was a man of wealth and charm, his pristine home and flawless smile painting the picture of a perfect guardian. Social workers marveled at his spotless adoption file, his warm demeanor disarming even the most cautious. But Scout saw through the facade. From the first day, he growled whenever Richard came near, his hackles rising in a way that made Lily's stomach twist. She tried to brush it off, telling herself Scout just needed time to adjust. But deep down, she felt it too, a shift in the air, a coldness that crept into Richard's voice when no one else was around. It started with small things. Richard would lock Scout outside in the pouring rain, claiming he'd made a mess. He'd rearrange Lily's furniture, leaving her to stumble into sharp corners, then laugh it off as her clumsiness. His voice grew sharp, his patience thin, and soon, his words turned cruel. One night, as thunder rumbled outside, he yanked Lily's cane from her hand, leaning close to whisper, "No one's going to believe a blind little girl." Scout barked and scratched at the door all night, desperate to reach her, but Lily stayed silent, her fear swallowing her voice. She didn't tell anyone, not the social worker, not her teachers, until Richard tried to take Scout away for good. It happened in the dead of night. A neighbor, Mrs. Aldridge, a retired school teacher with a keen ear, heard Scout's frantic barking and called animal control. Richard spun a story. Scout had attacked him, and Lily was becoming unmanageable, a burden he couldn't handle. Animal control seized Scout, and Lily's world shattered. She was sent to a foster center for assessment, her heart breaking with every step away from her best friend. But Mrs. Aldridge had heard more than barking that night. She told the police of shouting, a crash, a girl's cries, and a man's voice threatening someone. Her words were enough to reopen Lily's case. And soon, the court summoned her to testify. The courtroom was packed, a sea of faces Lily couldn't see but could feel, some curious, some doubtful, some hopeful. Her foster mother, Teresa, sat in the back, her hands clasped tightly, silently praying Lily could find the strength to speak. The attorney's voice was gentle but firm. "Tell us what happened the night your dog was taken, Lily." Her chin trembled, and tears welled in her sightless eyes. "My uncle said Scout bit him, but Scout didn't. He was barking because Uncle Richard was hurting me," the crowd murmured, a ripple of shock spreading through the room. The judge banged his gavel, silencing them. Richard's lawyer leaped up, his voice sharp. "Objection. Speculation." The judge overruled, his eyes fixed on Lily. "Can you explain what your uncle did?" the attorney asked softly. Lily's shoulders shook as she fought back sobs. "He locked Scout outside. He yelled at me. He pulled my cane and pushed me. He said no one would believe me because I can't see." The courtroom fell silent, her words hanging like a storm cloud. "But I remember everything," she whispered. "And Scout tried to save me." Just as Richard's lawyer prepared to dismiss her words as a child's imagination, the courtroom doors creaked open. A hush fell, and then pause on the floor. A soft whined Scout. He wasn't supposed to be there. The shelter had refused to release him until the hearing was over. But Teresa had fought for him, petitioning the judge that morning to let Scout return to Lily. The judge had agreed, and now, as Lily sat trembling on the stand, Scout bounded in, led by a volunteer. The moment he saw her, his tail wagged like a metronome, his eyes locked on hers, despite her blindness. He rushed to the witness stand, placing his front paws on the edge and gently licking the tears from her cheeks. "Scout," Lily gasped, dropping her cane to wrap her arms around him. The room watched in stunned silence, hearts melting at the reunion. But then, Scout turned. His movements were slow, deliberate. As he walked toward Richard, seated beside his lawyer, he stopped 2 feet away and growled a low, deep sound that sent chills through the room. It was the same growl from that terrible night, unmistakable and raw. The judge leaned forward. The crowd held its breath. Scout sniffed Richard's coat pocket, nudging it, then barked sharply twice. A bailiff stepped forward. "Sir, may I?" Richard's face paled, his voice tight. "There's nothing there." The judge nodded. "Let him check." The bailiff reached into Richard's pocket and pulled out a bottle of sedatives, prescribed to a name that wasn't his. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. The prosecutor's eyes narrowed, and further inspection revealed faint bruises on Lily's arms, previously dismissed as accidental. The pieces fell into place like a puzzle no one wanted to solve. 3 weeks later, Richard Hall was convicted of child endangerment and unlawful possession of a controlled substance. The court awarded permanent custody of Lily to Teresa, her foster mother, who had fought for her from the start, and Scout. He became a local legend, the hero dog whose loyalty couldn't be silenced. The story spread like wildfire, making national news with headlines like "Blind Girl's Dog Exposes," "Truth in Courtroom Drama," and "Scout, the Golden Retriever who saw what no one else could." Letters, toys, and messages of support poured in from across the country. But for Lily, only one thing mattered. Scout was back by her side. Months passed, and Lily began to heal. She started school again, her confidence growing with each step. Teresa enrolled her in piano lessons, and Scout was there, guiding her through the halls, sitting patiently during recess, and sleeping at her feet every night. One day, a reporter asked Lily how she knew Scout would protect her. Her answer was soft but sure. "Because he never left me, even when no one else could see the truth." Years later, Lily grew into a fierce advocate for children with disabilities, speaking in courtrooms not as a victim, but as a voice for others. At every speech, she carried a framed photo of Scout, who passed peacefully at 14. She'd hold it up and say, "This is the dog who saw what others couldn't, and taught me to never fear the truth." This story of courage, loyalty, and an unbreakable bond is one we're proud to share on Midnight Tales, our YouTube channel dedicated to real, heart-stirring stories that remind us of the light in the darkest moments. If Lily and Scout's journey touched your heart, drop a red heart in the comments for Scout, the hero who never gave up. Do you believe animals can sense the truth? Did you tear up when Scout rushed to Lily's side? Subscribe to for more stories of bravery, kindness, and the incredible connections between humans and animals. Let's keep spreading hope, one tale at a time, because at Midnight Tales, we believe love and loyalty always find a way.